Hello and welcome to Destiny 2 Explained. This video is going to be all about what exactly your power level is and how it works. This isn't a guide on how to level up fast, or Bungie hates this one simple trick, or anything like that. Instead, in this video, I'll be going over your overall power level, individual gear levels, and all the different gear level caps to give you a better understanding of how power level progression works in Destiny 2. My name is Park Attack. Let's get going. In Destiny 2, leveling up your Guardian might not work the way you think it does. In most other similar games, your actual character gains experience and levels up, but Destiny 2's character leveling is mostly based on gear. The overall power level of your Guardian is determined by two things: your average equipped gear level and the bonus power you receive from your seasonal artifact. Your gear score is an average of the 8 pieces you have equipped. If you want to do the math yourself, simply add the power levels of all 3 weapons and all 5 pieces of armor you have equipped, divide by 8, and round down. On top of the gear score is the artifact bonus. This power can technically be gained infinitely by receiving experience from any source, but an increasing amount of experience is required for each level, causing it to slow the higher it gets. This allows Guardians to continue raising their power level even after they've reached the Pinnacle gear level cap. Some of the activities in the game, such as Grandmaster Nightfalls and Master Lost sectors, have a suggested power level higher than the gear cap, and this is why. Continuing to raise your power level beyond the gear cap will also just make all the other content in the game easier, as each level increases the defense and damage output of your Guardian. However, this won't go on forever. When a new season begins and a new seasonal artifact is acquired, this power bonus is reset. Something to note about bonus artifact power is how it affects certain PvP level advantages. While base PvP modes put all Guardians on an even playing field by disabling power level advantages altogether, the Trials of Osiris, the Iron Banner, and Gambit all allow power level advantages. This means that Guardians with a significantly higher power level than you will feel much stronger, and those that are lower will feel weaker. This, however, is only based on gear score and does not include the bonus power received from artifacts. Another thing to note is that it has no effect on what level your loot drops, which brings us to our next topic. So, now that we know how the overall power level works, let's talk about the level of loot drops. When a new piece of gear is acquired, the game determines the level of that item based on the average power level of all your gear. This means that you don't have to have your highest leveled gear equipped in order to continue raising your level. You do, however, need to keep at least one copy of your highest leveled gear for each slot in your inventory or vault. This will ensure that the average power level of all your items is as high as possible. If you have a low-level piece of gear you like, and a high-level piece of gear in the same slot you don't like, you might want to think about infusing. Infusing a piece of gear will consume one upgrade module, destroy the higher-leveled piece, and bring your lower-leveled piece up to whatever level the higher one was. If you're lucky enough to find 2 copies of the same piece you want to infuse, it'll only cost you 1,000 glimmer, rather than an upgrade module. You can only carry 25 upgrade modules at a time, and while they aren't extremely expensive, they also aren't free, so you might want to think about it before using one. Upgrade modules can be acquired a few different ways, but are always available for purchase from Banshee 44 and Ada 1. There are tons of different ways to acquire gear in Destiny 2, and just by playing the game however you want, you'll continuously gain a substantial amount of gear. However, once you reach certain points in the game, you might start to notice that your drops aren't increasing in level like they used to. This is because of gear level caps. The first cap is the easiest to understand and is known as the soft cap. When you create a new Guardian, nearly every piece of gear you acquire will increase in level until you reach the soft cap. Because of this, it's generally not a good idea to infuse anything before the soft cap, as you'll quickly be gaining higher leveled gear anyways. During this period, if you happen to find an item that you really like, but outgrow it, throw it in the vault and wait until later in the game to infuse it. This will save you upgrade modules and other resources later on. The current season soft cap is 1270, but this will inevitably change whenever the next season or expansion comes out, and will continue to change with each one after that. After reaching the soft cap, your next stop will be the hard cap. During this period, regular gear drops will not increase in level, so you'll need to focus on more specific sources to acquire powerful gear. But don't start to panic yet, as these sources are still pretty common. Most activities provide powerful gear upon completion, and bounties from several different vendors can also be completed each week for powerful gear. Prime engrams are yet another common source of powerful gear. There's a small chance that they'll drop from any source, any amount of times, which adds up quickly. You also might have noticed that some sources that look like powerful gear actually say Pinnacle gear. It's not until after the hard cap that the two should be treated differently, so for now, just treat any Pinnacle gear the same as powerful gear. The current season's hard cap is 1320, making it a 50 level jump up from the soft cap. The Pinnacle Cap is the final push in terms of gear level. This is the absolute highest level that gear can drop during any given season. Once you've reached the hard cap, the only gear that'll further increase your level is Pinnacle gear. Pinnacle gear is similar to powerful gear in how it can be obtained, but there aren't quite as many sources. The gap between hard and Pinnacle caps have always been the smallest in terms of levels, but usually take the longest due to the scarcity and difficulty of obtaining Pinnacle gear. However, there are a few simple ways to get Pinnacle gear each week, such as participating in a few instances of the Crucible, Vanguard Strikes, Gambit, and the seasonal activity. If you're able to take on the latest raid, you'll receive a piece of Pinnacle gear after each encounter, as well as upon completion, which essentially doubles the amount of Pinnacle gear you can receive each week. You can also complete the latest dungeon for another piece each week, and although dungeons can be soloed, they're meant to be completed as a fire team of 3, so you're most likely going to need some help. Aside from these rather straightforward forms of obtaining Pinnacle gear, there are also a handful of other less consistent ways to obtain them, such as Trials of Osiris or Iron Banner, as well as every once in a while by leveling up your vendor ranks. I won't go through every possible way to acquire them in this video, but by now, you probably get the point. The Pinnacle Cap is meant to take some time, but it's also meant to incentivize you to complete challenging endgame content, even though you don't have to in order to reach it. The current season's Pinnacle Cap is 1330, only 10 levels above the hard cap. To put it all into perspective, we can use this season as an example, but keep in mind that these values will change with each new season. When creating a brand new Guardian, the base power level starts at 1100. Although the soft cap is all the way up at 1270, you'll reach it rather quickly, as nearly every piece of gear you receive will be an upgrade. After 1270, you'll feel a slow in pace as you reach for the hard cap at 1320. Although powerful gear is plentiful, leveling here isn't quite as fast as before, but it will still progress at a decent pace. After reaching 1320, Pinnacle gear will be your only option for progression, as you grind for the last 10 levels to finally reach the Pinnacle Cap at 1330. Of course, we also can't forget the bonus power from the artifact, which will continue to level us well past the Pinnacle Cap, but doesn't actually affect the level of loot, and will be reset when the next season begins. With the way things are currently paced, when a new expansion comes out, a previously fully leveled Guardian will have to re-level through the hard cap and the Pinnacle Cap. However, with each new season in between, and once again, assuming you've reached max level during the previous season, you'll only have to re-level through the Pinnacle Cap. To some people, this system might seem like a hamster wheel, but as a game that's constantly evolving, it's actually meant to make player progression feel consistently fresh. Once you've fully leveled a Guardian, it significantly speeds up the process to each season cap, as well as leveling for your second and third Guardians if you decide to try the other classes. Either way, the leveling process is only one facet of the game as a whole. Reaching max level quickly can be fun, but it can also get stagnant over time. In my opinion, I think that new Pinnacle grinds for each new season is a pretty good way to achieve balance within the leveling system. It gives you something to do every 3 to 4 months, but doesn't take up all your time, so you can still enjoy the other aspects of the game. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, or let me know what you think down in the comments. Once again, my name is Park Attack. Peace.